This is your prophecy update. Let's talk about world government in action. LifeSite News reports on November 2nd that at a conference organized by the Pontifical Academy of Sciences, United Nations advisor Jeffrey Sachs said that, well, believe me, Donald Trump didn't think of pulling out of the Paris Agreement. Of course, to much laughter, he added he doesn't really think much at all. Well, the conference, which was entitled Health of People, Health of Planet, and Our Responsibility, Climate Change, Air Pollution, and Health, launched with many pro-abortion population control advocates. I want to make sure you get that, population control. They think they should be able to tell you how many kids you have. And this meeting advocates, these advocates were in attendance. Professor Ram Ramanathan, a member of the Pontifical Academy of Sciences, predicted possible catastrophic events due to global warming, with billions suffering from extreme heat and disease in as little as 2 generations. So here comes the global warming, climate change propaganda. Well, Sachs told the group that they should not ignore or underestimate the Paris Climate Agreement, which Donald Trump just pulled us out of. He stated that which would push forward their agenda. What's their agenda? It's world government. He presented its passage as contingent on the intervention of Pope Francis. The remarks echo those that Pope Francis had made last year, noting that the Pope's encyclical Laudato Si was key for the passage of the Sustainable Development Goals in 2015, in addition to the Paris Climate Agreement. Pro-life and pro-family groups which lobby the UN have long warned that the UN's Sustainable Development Goals provide cover for a population control agenda that seeks to enshrine a global right to abortion and contraception under the guise of reducing poverty and protecting the environment. Target 3.7 of the SDGs explicitly calls for universal access to sexual and reproductive health care services. The UN defined these terms all the way back in 1994 at the Cairo Conference to mean providing women with modern contraception for family planning and with safe abortion where it is legal. So they're talking about population control because they don't think that the earth can sustain the 7.3 billion plus people that it has now. So they're actually stating that we need to reduce this. LifeSite News reported also that a speaker at that same meeting told the Vatican Conference that reducing population is best, it's the best solution to the climate crisis. One of the main concerns about the Vatican's frequent conferences on climate change really in recent years has been that many of the invited speakers favor population control, decreasing the surplus population as a means to protecting the planet. Now, this became patently clear at this Pontifical Academy of Sciences seminar when a key speaker said, it's a little ambitious to think that we can cut the population in half by 2050. But it is smarter to cull the number of people first, thereby making the move to renewable energy easier. So they're talking about halving the population. How in the world are they planning on doing that? And answering a question from the Academy's Chancellor, Bishop Marcelo Sanchez Serrando, on whether there should be a hierarchy of solutions to address the crisis of climate change and global warming, which is total propaganda by the United Nations pushing their global governing scheme. Lee, who made this statement about population control, said that having the population, and in other words, cutting the population in half by 2050 would be his priority, as it would significantly reduce consumption. Then we can talk about renewable energy. He said it can be easily achieved at that point. Now, folks, the Sustainable Development Goals are world government in action. And these people believe in it so much that they are pushing population control to actually decrease the population of the planet by 50% by 2050. That would be an ambitious goal of theirs. And these individuals who are working to establish this world government, they believe that they should be able to decide how much population should be on the earth and that it should be a lot less than it is, throwing out statements like halving the earth's population by 2050. These global governing efforts are the ongoing fulfillment of the world government prophesied to be in power at the time of the second coming of Jesus Christ.